Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Hope you're all well on this Wednesday, and being Wednesday it means it's marathon today. And today we have got a request, and it's for Gordon Lightfoot, a great singer-songwriter from Canada, achieved international success in the folk and rock world. He's actually been credited to define the folk pop sound of the 60s and 70s. And he has been referred to as the greatest songwriter from Canada. He was born Gordon Meredith Lightfoot Jr. on the 17th November 1938 and sadly passed away about a year ago, May the 1st, 2023. Left us some wonderful music. He was touring right up to April 2023, and he actually died of just old age, at the age of 84. But he left us with 20 great albums. Some of them, the 80s ones were a little bit weak, but there's always at least one or two good songs on every album. But he was that period in the 70s where he was at his peak. Left some wonderful songs, wonderful story songs. So we got 20 to go through today. So we're going to get cracking. So coming in at number 20, this is the 16th album, and it was released in 1986. And it's called East of Midnight. That lots of people play on these albums, too many to mention, so I'm not going to do that today. So the first track is a track called Stay Loose. I like the words to it, it's a really nice song, but that 80s production even got to Gordon. It just doesn't suit his style. I do like the song though, but I just don't like the way it's been produced. Morning Glory comes next. I don't mind this one. I think even though the guitars are a little bit overproduced, it's a proper sort of Gordon song. East of Midnight, very overproduced. I just don't like it. The drums don't sound right. It's too smooth. There's no soul in it. I'm just not very keen on that one. A Lesson in Love. Again, it's a lovely song, but the way that it's been produced. Anything for Love, probably one of the worst tracks ever did. It's just that 80s horrible sound. Oh, no. Let It Ride. My favourite track on here. This is a little bit more like it. It's what I expect to hear from Gordon. One of the better tracks on the album. Ecstasy Made Easy. Electronic drums. What's going on here? No, I didn't like it. Just got to be again overproduced 80s nonsense. A Passing Ship, proper song. As you go through this, he loves singing about the ocean and ships. This is a good song. I'll Tag Along, nice song, terrible production. This album is just, what in God's name were record companies thinking, getting everyone to sound poppy and 80s. It doesn't work, and it didn't work on this one for Gordon, although I do like some of the songs. And then I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10, purely on the lyrics. The lyrics are great. Okay, coming in at number 19, we've got the 15th album now. Now this one was released in 1983, and it's called Salute. So first track on here is a Salute. A lot more living to do. I don't mind this track actually, although it's 1983. It's quite a nice little tune, and it's as ever delivered beautifully by Gordon. Gotta Get Away, good little rocker this is, a little bit different from it, some really meaty riffs. Good track. Whispers of the North. This is a sort of classic sounding Gordon, with a lovely little story to it. A wonderful track. I do like that one. Someone to Believe In. Bit too poppy for me. Gordon, Lightfoot and pop. No, not a fan of that one. Romance. Ditch the horrible cheesy 80 keyboard. Just carry with the guitars and you've got a great song in romance. But it's the keyboards that kill it, really. Then my favourite track on this one is called Knotty Pine. Classic sounding Gordon, a great little story. I do love listening to Gordon's lyrics. There's a story in every song. That's just great. Biscuit City. Once again, you've got to get rid of the 80s cheesy keyboard and you've got a really good song. Without You, very poppy. Not a big fan of that one. Tattoo. Once again, I'm afraid it's a broken record for me. Get rid of that horrible 80s nonsense keyboard. Just give me some decent guitars, because it's quite a good song. Without the keyboards, I think it'd even be better. And the last track on this one is called Broken Dreams. It's a good little rock song to end the album. Now this is one of those albums that's got some really nice tracks on it, but the production, again, I don't know what's going on there. It just really annoys me. Take these great artists and then make substandard albums. And I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay then, coming in at number 18, we got the 14th album from 1982, and it's called Shadows. First track is called 14 Karat Gold. Now this is actually one of my favourite tracks on this one. Very catchy tune. It's more guitars, and I quite like it. It's very quirky. In My Fashion comes next. This one isn't too bad. It's still very 80s, but you know, it's listenable, that one. Shadows. All I'm going to say, get rid of the keyboard and we've got a great song. Blackberry Wine. They've smoothed out the guitar. There's no emotion in it. It's just been cleaned up too nice. If it was a bit more raw, I think it'd be a great track. Heaven Help the Devil. It's not too bad, this one, isn't it? You know, it's pretty decent. It's sort of going away from the 80s production. Thank You for the Promises. Would have been better without the keyboard. Nice track. Doesn't need that horrible cheesy keyboard. My favourite track on here is Baby Step Back. It's lots of guitar and it's a real dry vocal from Gordon, and it's a really nice song. After I'm Moving, song's great. Nothing wrong with it. It's more like it. I don't like that one. Triangle. More the typical sort of Gordon Lightfoot track. Nice little song. I'll Do Anything. Yes, I'm afraid cheesy keyboard just ruined it. But it is a nice song. The words are really nice. And the last track on this one, She's Not the Same. Just spoiled by production. Again, we got one of these albums that's got some great songs on it. But some of the production just let it down, which is a shame because it is a really good, some really nice songs on here. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in number 17, 12th album from 1978, and it's called Endless Wire. First track on here is called Daylight Katie. I like this. It's got a very country sound. The strings really add to it. It's a super track. Sweet Genevieve, nice song again. Nothing wrong with this one. Lovely tones. Great little story from Gordon. A really good track. Hangdog Hotel Room, my favourite track on here. I love the guitar work on this one. Great vocal from Gordon. I just like how it changes key a little bit as well. It's really good. If There's a Reason. This is very, very country, and I'm not keen on this style of country music. It's a little bit whiny. I like some country music, but I don't like the real whiny country music. Endless Wire, the title track, my second favourite track on this one. It's a bit of a country rocker, and I do like it. Dreamland, Pleasant Song. just what I expect to hear from Gordon Lightfoot. And Songs of the Minstrels, another one of my favourite songs on here. It's just a lovely lyrics. Sometimes I don't mind. Nice vocal from Gordon on this. But what adds this is that violin. It really gives it a little bit of depth. If Children Had Wings, rich song, nice, lovely words. You can sit and listen to this and the words are so meaningful, and it's delivered wonderfully as ever by Gordon. And the last track is called The Circle Is Small, I Can't See It For Your Eyes. Great song. The piano on this is delightful, and it just adds to this. This is a pretty decent album. I really like listening to this one. It's quite very country. Some of the tracks are too whiny country, but on the whole I do like it. And I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, coming in at number 16, 13th album from 1980, and it's called Dream Street Rose. And there's just a few people playing on this. You've got Gordon on vocals and guitar, Terry Clements on the lead guitar, Rick Haynes on the bass, Pee Wee Charles on pedal steel guitar, Barry Keane on the drums, and Michael Martian on pianos and keyboards. The first track on here is a great track called Seat of Tranquility. Really good story. Music's wonderfully put together. What a fantastic song. My favourite on here is The Ghost of Cape Horn. As I said, Gordon liked writing songs about the sea and ships, and this is one of them. It's a lovely story about ghosts going around the Cape of Cape Horn. Wonderful song, my favourite on the album. Dream Street Roads, another nice song. Lovely guitars here. You've got Terry and Gordon. Really good track. On the High Seas, another of those stories about the high seas. I love these songs. A wonderful song, and delivered again. Gordon's delivery is wonderful. Whisper My Name, what a lovely song this is. Gordon on his guitar, just playing, singing, wonderful. If You Need Me, pretty good that one is. Pretty solid track. Hey You, wonderful little song, catchy. That's what I like about Gordon songs, they were always catchy. Make Way for the Lady. Now this is great. It's got a jazzy blues feel to it, and I do like it. It's a nice vocal as well. Mr. Rockabye is just sort of them nice little short middle of the road tracks with a catchy tune. The Auctioneer. This is a proper yeehaw country song. I do like it. That's a good track to end the album. Again, a really good album. I like every track on here. You know, when you've got a huge catalogue as Gordon is, it's very hard to put this near this low down, but I still love this album. And I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Time for a drink already. Okay then, coming in at number 15. This is the 17th album released in 1993, and it's called Waiting for You. And they always say this is a sort of a comeback for Gordon. It's his first album since 1986. So on here, joining Gordon again is Terry Clements on the lead guitar, Rick Haynes on the bass, Mike Heffernan does the keyboards, and Barry King's on the drums. First track is called Restless. This is a classic sounding Gordon Lightfoot. I love this song, my favourite, and it could have come off any of the 70s albums. Just wonderful. Then he does a cover version of Bob Dylan's Ring Them Bells, and it's a very good version of it as well. It's a good song from Bob, and Gordon does a great cover of it. Fading Away, I love this track as well. It's always been a nice sort of sounding track. Only Love Would Know, it's not a bad track either. It's pleasant enough. Welcome to Try. I think the drums on this are a little bit too heavy. It should have been a little bit more gentle. Sort of ruins it a little bit. I'll Prove My Love. Very strange recording this is. It's okay, but not particularly a favourite of mine on this album. Waiting for You, solid track, nothing wrong with that one. Wild Strawberries, good old style, Gordon Lightfoot, telling the stories as ever. I'd Rather Press On, again it's just a very pleasant listenable track. And your last track, Drink Your Empty Glasses, one of them storytelling songs. I don't know if it's about his experiences or it's just something that he's created. It's wonderful. I think this is a pretty good album. It's back to sort of form after them rather weak. It's an 80s album, and I do enjoy this album. And I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay then, number 14 on the list. And it is his 20th and final studio album that he released in March of 2020. And it's called Solo. So this is basically Gordon and his guitar. First track on here is called Oh So Sweet. What a lovely song this is. And it amazes me that a man with a bit about 81, 82 when he recorded this, and he could still sing and play like he did. It's a lovely track. Then we have Emotion. Again, it's just a lovely track. A lot of heart and emotion went into that song. Better Off. His voice is a little bit off in this. It's a little bit of a strain in some of it, but I'll forgive him because he's in his 80s. It's a nice song. Return to Dust, Into Dust is my favourite track on here. It's a lovely story, and it's a song about thinking about the future, and it's a pretty, it's a bit morbid in places, but it's still a lovely song. Do You Walk, Do You Walk. Love his guitar playing on here. 80 odd, and he's still playing the guitar wonderfully. Just a Little Bit. Just sounds like one of his early tracks that he did when in his beginning of his career. He came full circle. It's a wonderful track. Then we have Easy Flow. His voice is a little bit struggling, but hey, it's still a good track. Dream Drift. There's a little bit of whistling in here, which is not bad for a guy of this age. Fantastic. The Laughter We Seek. It's a great track. Now, if you listen to this into the headphones, you can hear him tapping the side of his guitar as well. It's just a plug in and go sort of thing. This is. It's a great track. Why not give it a try? A lovely little track to end the album. It's a nice little story. This is an amazing album. There he is in his 80s, still recording, performing as well. I mean, he performed literally up to the end of his death. You know, it's a proper good guitar one-man album. I enjoy this, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, coming in at number 13 is the 19th album. Now, this was actually recorded in 2001, but he didn't release it until 2004, and it's called Harmony. Again, there's quite a few people on this. Title track is the first track. Lovely song. I love the accordion into it. It just gives it a little bit of edge. What a good track. River of Light comes next. I just love the bass line on it. It's really rich, and it really adds to the song, and it's a fine vocal from Gordon. Flying Blind, the organ in this really adds to this. It fills the track. I love the little shuffle on the maracas. It's just a great little track. No Mistake About It. One of my favourite tracks on the album. The guitar work is fantastic. I just love listening to Gordon's lyrics. End of All Time, nice little quirky track, great vocal from Gordon, real uplifting little track. Selfish, as in cockles and that sort of thing. I love the keyboard sound on it. You know, get the keyboard sound right on Gordon Sachs and it adds to the track. And it's just like that. The No Hotel, another of these life stories. This guy's got so many stories to tell, and the bass line is great in that as well. Inspiration Lady, love this one again. It's gentle, lovely tones on the guitars. My favourite track on here is this one, The Clouds of Loneliness. I just love the lyrics. It's a wonderful story, wonderfully written and wonderfully played. Couching, sorry. Not very keen on this one. It's sort of a little bit disjointed. And the last track on this one is called Sometimes I Wish. Very solid track, just typical Gordon. Very good album. His voice is still as strong. You know, he's an older gentleman now, but it's still really good. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.8. Okay, then coming in at number 12 is the 18th album. This came out in 1998, and it's called A Painter Passing Through. The first track on here is called Drifters. I love this track. It's actually one of my favourite tracks by Gordon. It was in my honourable mentions when I did that tribute to him. I just love this song. It is, again, it's just telling a story. I've always liked this song. My Little Love, a track that goes to the old days. Wonderful delivery from Gordon. Seems like it's quite a personal song. Because you can tell it in his voice. There's a lot of emotion in that one. Redneck Loon reminds me of another one that we'll talk about later. It just another great song. Then my favourite on here, it's a track that was in my top 10 and I love it. It's a wonderful story about I used to be a country singer. It's a lovely story about a country singer and all these experiences. I just love these sort of songs. Boathouse is another good track. Bit rocky, this one. Good track. Much to my surprise, I like this. The vocal is good. The guitar work is good. It's just a solid track. The title track, A Painter Passing Through. Another of those. This is about a painter passing through a place and describing the scenes. Wonderful song. Then we have On Young Street. Strong vocal. I love that one. Red Velvet, a little lovely quirky song, a nice country song. And then we have the last out track is called Uncle Toad Said. It's another of those little stories about an uncle. I don't know if it's one of his uncles, but I just think it's all wonderful. Some nice harmonics on this as well. This was Gordon's best album from the 90s. He'd gone through some leaner moments in his career, but this is a very strong album, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 11, we go back now to 1968 and to the fourth album, Back Here on Earth, and this is Gordon on 6 and 12 strings guitars and vocals, Red Shea on lead, acoustic guitar, and John Stockfish on bass. So the first track is the brilliant Long Way Back Home, a lovely acoustic song with that 60s groove to it. It's a lovely little song. Unsettled Ways, one of the shorter tracks on here, quirky. It's just Gordon and the guitar and him singing. Lovely little track. Long Thing Dawn, it's got a lovely bass line from John Stockfish, and it and Gordon sort of works around that. It's a really good track. Then we have A Bit of Green, one of the gentler tracks on here. I do like the guitar tones. The Circle is Small, I Can See It in Your Eyes. Simple bass line, guitars. That's all it needed, and a great vocal. Marie Christine, my favourite track on here. I think it's just a really nice story about a young lady. Then we have Cold Hands from New York, second favourite track. I think this is it's telling a story about being in New York and struggling in New York, and it's really good. Affair on the 8th Avenue, gentle song. I do like Gordon's vocals on that. Don't Beat Me Down, it's okay, a little bit. Not my favourite track, but the next one, The Gypsy, another good song. It's about story. It's a little bit repetitive in places, but it's okay. And the last track on this one is called If I Could. Very pleasant song. I enjoyed this album, but there are a couple of tracks on here that do sound the same, just with different words. And I think that's why it just didn't make the top 10 Gordon Lightfoot, because there's a bit repetitive in places, but it's still a very good album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.2. Another sip of coffee before we go on. Okay, top 10. These are the top 10 albums that I recommend anyone that's not listened to a lot of Gordon Lightfoot. So, coming in at number 10, we have the third album from 1968, and it's Did She Mention My Name? So Gordon's on here playing his guitars. Drums on this one is Herbie Lavelle. Electric guitar, Huey McCracken. Red Shea on lead acoustic guitar. John Simon does the string arrangements, and Mr. John Stockfish plays the bass. So the first track is called Wherefore and Why. I love this song. Such a quirky little number. The vocal from Gordon is lovely. It's quirky, and I do like it. The Last Time I Saw Her. It's just one of them songs. It's a bit of it's a love song, obviously. It just tells a story about regrets, I think. There's some lovely strings in it as well. Then my favourite track on here is Black Day in July. My favourite track, I think, it's very stripped down, a moody blues sort of song without the strings and harmonies. But the quirkiness of it is very moody blues, and I do like it, and I think that's why it's my favourite track on here. Then we have May I. A great little track. It's one of them songs that you can say a piano in a pub playing, you know, open mic night, acoustic guitar, piano and singing. I love this song. It's lovely. Magnificent Outpouring. Believe it or not, what really makes this song is some tambourine in the background. The percussion's great, but it's that tambourine that really makes it, believe it or not. And it's a great vocal from Gordon, of course. Does Your Mother Know? The strings are wonderful in here. It just adds to this track. It's got a lot of atmosphere on that one. The Mountain and Mary Ann. The strings in it gives it some depth. It's a great little story again, wonderfully put together. Pussy Willow's Cattails. It's probably one of the only songs I'm not very keen on that Gordon ever recorded. It's just something about it. I just didn't like it. I want to hear from you. Very pastiche, poppy 60s song. Really nice. Bossman. I don't know what's going on here, but it's quite clever how they put this track together. It's psychedelic. I don't know what was going on, but they did make a really good track of that. Then we have Did She Mention My Name? I love this song. It's just based around that tambourine shaking. Believe it or not. It's got a great bass line from John as well. Good album. It's got what I consider some commercial 60s songs on it, but it's a good all-round album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.4. Coming in at number 9. Go to the 8th album now. Now this was released in 1972, and it's called Old Dan's Records. Lots of people playing on here. So we've got Farewell to Annabelle, a really good song. I love the banjo in here. Great vocal from from Gordon. I just love the banjo. It sort of blends nicely with the guitars. That Same Obsession. Lovely piano in this. It really shines on this track. The guitar's good, but I just like this. Old Dam's Records, we've got the banjo back, and it's great. It's a lovely song. It's a story as well about, I think it's like discovering some old records. It's really good. Lazy Morning, I love this. The piano is wonderful. It's just a lazy track, really, as it says Lazy Morning. It's very, very lazy. Sunday morning track, that is. You Are What I Am. A nice country and western tune, this is. I just like listening to this. It's quite a little boppy little thing. Then we got Can't Depend on Love. Solid. Was a lovely track. Then we have a lovely little quirky track called My Pony Won't Go. It's a story about a pony that won't go anywhere. It's quite fun and delivered well by Gordon. It's Worth Believing, my favourite track on here. It's some lovely harmony singing on this. It's just a really good track. Mother of a Miner's Child, a lovely little folk song, a wonderful story, great vocal from Gordon. And the last track on there is called Highway Songs. The guitar is good. It's very upbeat. The banjo gives it some extra depth, and it's a good track to end the album. Another good album. I think this is where Gordon was at his best. Very consistent album through this period of his career. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, coming in at number 8, we have the debut album. It was recorded in 1964, but it didn't get an album release date till January of 66. So on here it's Gordon playing guitar, piano and vocals, David Ray on second guitar, Bruce Longhorn second guitar on Long Wither, and Bill Lee on the bass. First track on here is Rich Man Spiritual. Very simple song. Guitars and a bit of bass. Just lovely. Great vocal. Long River, another good song from the young Gordon Lightfoot. Some nice guitar work in here. The Way I Feel. My second favourite track on here. I just love the guitar tones on this. One of my favourite tracks by Gordon as well. For Loving Me, the acoustic guitar on here is wonderful. It's folky. I love this. It's just a nice little track. First Time I Ever Saw Your Face, written by Iain McCall. It's a really nice song, and it's a great vocal from Gordon. Changes, another little gentle track. Lovely relaxing song. Early Morning Rain, my favourite track on here. It's in my top 10 as well. Lovely song about first thing in the morning, early morning rain. A brilliant song. Steel Rail Blues, a song about the railway. Again, it's like he's singing his songs about ships. It's something very, I think, was close to his heart, and it's all about Canadian Railroad. Fantastic little song. 16 Miles to 7 Likes. Another bright song. I just like the simplicity of it, though. I'm Not Saying, another little quirky track. Pride of Man next. I love the fast guitars on this. It really is upbeat, and there's no drum in this, but you didn't need it because the guitars really added to it. Ribbon of Darkness. One guitar player, one singer, and someone whistling. I love the whistling at the start of this. Oh Linda, great bass line. You always get if you get a nice bass line on an acoustic song, it really adds to it. And then the last track is Peaceful Waters. Probably the weakest track on here. It's definitely got that last track on the album syndrome. A simple but effective debut album. Basics. That's all you needed, and it works. It's a great album to listen to, and I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay, coming in number 7, we have the second album, The Way I Feel. Now, this was released in 1967. So we got Gordon on guitar and piano and vocals, Red Shea on guitar, John Stackfish on bass, Ken Buttery on percussion. And we got a third guitar, Charles McCoy, who actually plays harmonica, and Celeste bells as well. First track on here was called Walls. Love the harmonica, it really adds to this track. Really catchy little tune. If you got it, I think this is one of them tracks. It's a simple percussion, and it just keeps the beat gently going, and you don't need any fancy stuff. The guitars are great. It's just a really strong track. Softly comes now. Trying to go a little bit poppy and relevant. I do like the song though. Very, very good. Crossroads, my favourite track on here. The harmonica is great. It's and I like the guitars. It's sort of, I don't know. It's a super little song. A minor ballad. There's some cello on this, and I love the guitar and vocal from Gordon on this. Go Go Round, a little bit of a 60s poppy track, some lovely arrangements and harmonies on there. Then we have Rosanna, nothing to do with Toto. Really nice little upbeat song. Love the vocal from Gordon on this. Terrific song. Home from the Forest. It's just one of them simple songs. No complications, just push the record button and what you've got in your hand you play and you sing. Lovely. I'll Be Alright. Now this reminds me of the Seekers. I'm expecting Judith Durham to start singing. It's got that feel to it. It's great. I love that song. A Song for a Winter's Night. It's got that atmosphere, the harmony. It's one of them sort of sitting round a log fire sort of thing. The song sets the atmosphere. Then we have the Canadian Railroad Trilogy. I love this. It's just telling the story of the Canadian Railroad, and he tells such great stories. Then we have The Way I Feel, which is a little bit different to the version on the debut album. It's a little bit more upbeat. They've just changed it around. It's still a good track though. It's a little got more electric guitar on this. It's a little bit psychedelic as well. It's a good track to end the album. This is a bit more upbeat from the debut. It's got a few more instruments on it and a little bit more experimentation. It's a solid album, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.8. Top 6. Coming in at number 6, 10th album from 1975, and it's called Cold on the Shoulder. The album opens up with my favourite track on here, and it's called Bend in the Water. I just slowly the guitar strings bend as well, and I think that's what gives it, when you bend on the world, you get it on the guitar string. Really good track. Then we have Rainy Day People. And there's a little song, and what he's trying to get over, that rainy day people being rather wise. Great track. Cold on the Shoulders comes next. It's a great little song. Very simple, but a good lyric. I do like that one. The Soul is the Rock. Great song. There's one catch. I think it's just a couple of minutes too long. Towards the end, it sort of meanders a little bit too much. I don't think he knew how to hand it, but on the whole it's a pretty good song. Bells of the Evening. I love the piano on this. It just adds to the atmosphere. Rainbow Trout. Great backing vocals. Funny name for a track, but it's pretty good. Then we have A Tree Too Weak to Stand. I love the guitar work on it. It's just a lovely tune from Gordon. All the Lovely Ladies. It's a typical Gordon song. Great vocal, great melody, catchy words. Great song. Fine as Fine Can Be. The strings and piano and the guitar work wonderfully well on here. Cherokee Bend. It's a story about the Cherokee tribe. It's another of my favourite songs. It's a story, and I just love that sort of thing. Now and Then. Strings, guitars, a little bit of steel guitar thrown in, and a great vocal from Gordon. Perfect. Then the last track, Slide On Over. It's a pretty good track. I think this is just a great album. It's full of good songs, a lot of story songs on this. And I really enjoyed this album, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.9. Okay, coming in number 5, 6th album from 1971, Summerside of Life. First track on here is Degrees and Getting Older. Great story. It's just about being young and getting older, and it's a lovely vocal. Miguel, it's a lovely song, sang with a lot of emotion here. I don't know who Miguel was, but it seems like someone that Gordon knew. Lovely little track. Go My Way. Simple percussion, simple guitars, and a great vocal. What more do you need? Summerside of Life. I like the track, but I'd say out of all the tracks on this album, it's the weaker of the tracks. There's just something that it just lacks something, but I still like it, if you get what I mean. Cotton Jenny. Love the harmonica in this. That's the harmonies as well. It's a good song. Then we get my favourite ever song written by Gordon, Talking in Your Sleep. I just love it. It's just the wonderful lyric. It's a gentle song. He's singing at his best on this. It's just something about this song that sends shivers down my spine and my hairs on my back stick up. I just love this song. Then we have New Vision Ensemble. The piano and guitar work well, and a great vocal from Gordon. Same Old Lover Man. If you listen to this closely, it's got the same sort of rhythm as during the Pacemakers, You'll Never Walk Alone in places, and you can actually sing the words to that song on that. It's a great little tune anyway. I don't know if he nicked it, who knows, but it's still good. Redwood Hill, great little country thing. It's a bit of a hoedown sort of track. The fiddle and the guitars, stomping your feet, country dancing. Good little track. Loving the Maple Syrup. The guitar's great on it. It's a little bit different. He's singing in the lower key as well, which is strange, but it works. Cabaret. What a fabulous song. Cabaret, sorry. Can't even read what's on the screen. It's just missed out on my top 10 of songs. I just love it. I love the lyrics. I love the feel to this. Definitely in my top 20 Gordon Lightfoot songs. This song contains my favourite song by this album. Shall I start again? This album contains my favourite song, and it's only at number 5. It just shows that the top 5 albums were just hard to split. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Number 4 then is the 11th album from 76, and it's Summertime Dream. First track on here is called Race Among the Ruins. Some great steel guitar on this. You can just about hear it. It's one of them that it's not in the foreground, it's in the background, but you can hear it, and it sort of comes in places where it sort of lifts the song. Good start. Then we have the classic and one of my favourite tracks ever, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. As I said, he loved writing stories about the seas and galleys, and it's just lovely. I remember this on the radio back in 76. I love how he sings this. He sings in that low key. It's a story, and he changes his voice for different sort of characters. It's 6 minutes of wonderful storytelling and music. I'm Not Supposed to Care comes next. Love this track. The mixture of the acoustic guitar and the steel pedal guitar is really good, but the acoustic guitar takes the lead, and the steel pedal just adds to it as on the other tracks. Good track. I'll Do It Again. One of my favourite tracks on this album. It's a lovely little story, some nice playing. What a track. Never Too Close. Once again, we got the combination of the steel guitar and acoustic guitar, both playing a big part of this song. It's a great combination and a great vocal from Gordon. Protocol comes up. There's so many good things about this song. The vocal delivery, the tones on the guitar, just a great song. The House You Live In, love the arrangement of this. Again, this album's got lots of great steel guitar bits on it. It's just there in the background, giving it when it needs it as well. Wonderful little track. Summertime Dream, classic. It's a very short track, but it's just another track full of great singing and tones. Spanish Moss, a little bit different. It's a nice song, like that song. And then the last track is Too Many Clues in This Room. There's just something about this song. The guitar tones, it's a little bit funky, and it's my second favourite track on here. I just love Gordon's vocal. This album is just showing that consistency of the 70s. An album full of quality songs and quality songwriting from Gordon. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.2. Okay, coming in number 3, 7th album from February 1972, Don Quixote. So we've got Gordon on here, we've got Red Shea on high string guitar and classical guitar and Deborah, Terry Clements on lead acoustic guitar, Rick Haynes on bass, Roy Cooder on the mandolin. Bob Thompson does some string arrangements. So the first track is the title track, Don Quixote. It's one of them storytelling songs. I like it. I love the lyrics. I love the guitar playing on it. I just love this song. Christian Island, and in brackets Georgian Bay. What a lyric. Some nice guitar playing, and what a vocal from Gordon. Love listening to that one. Alberta Bound, my second favourite track on the album. The bass line is great. It's sort of a journey as well, a train journey. It's got that sort of feel to it. I do like that. Looking at the Rain, the strings are great. It's just a classic for me. Ordinary Man, very nice song. The strings, some lovely string arrangements on this. It just adds to that track. My favourite track, it's one of my favourite songs, Brave Mountaineers. It's a story about people climbing mountains and how brave they were. It's just probably climbing up in the Rockies. It's just a really good track, and this is one of them tracks that just blows in my mind. From one of Canada's best songwriters. What a track. Ode to Big Blue, dedicated to the ocean. He was fascinated by the sea, and it's all about sea and sea travel. It's a great little song. Second Cup of Coffee, another great track. It's got some lovely guitar tones on it, and I do like them sort of tracks. Beautiful, just a wonderful song. Very romantic, but not slushy. Wonderful. On Susan's Floor. That's nice. Written by Shel Silverstein and Vince Matthews. Lovely little track. And The Patriot's Dream. Another of those great story songs. The lyrics, if you've got to listen to it under the headphones to really appreciate it. What a great track to end the album. Lots of stories on this. and great stories. If you read the lyrics, it's just like reading great poems. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.3. Top two. This was difficult. It really, really was, because there's not much between these two albums in my books. So coming in at number 2 is the 6th album from 1970, and it's called Sit Down Young Stranger, but they renamed it to If You Could Read My Mind after the song got to the top of the Canadian charts. But for me it's called Sit Down Young Stranger, and always will be. This opens up with The Minstrel of the Dawn. Awesome track. The guitar work on here is lovely. A little bit of the strings gives it atmosphere, then a little bit of harmonica to even give it more depth. What a great track to open up this album. Then we have a cover song of me and Bobby McGee, the Chris Christopherson, Bobby Gentry song. Really good version of it as well. Approaching Lavender, great song. The strings, just there's something about them strings on this, really adds to it. Saturday Close, gentle song, lovely vocal from Gordon. Cobwebs and Dust, one of my favourite tracks on this album. That combination of guitars and the pedal guitar, the violin sort of intertwines between the guitars and the steel pedal. Probably a great little track. Poor Little Alison, the steel guitar is absolutely gorgeous on this. Just really adds to it. Sit Down Young Stranger, the classic, just another great story. Great delivery by Gordon. Then we have the classic, If You Could Read My Mind, probably his biggest hit. I remember this in the charts. It was a big hit over here in the UK. It's just a great, great track. Baby It's Alright, another combination of guitars and banjos. Really good little song. Let Your Loves Return, a song for Stephen Foster. A really nice song with some deep, meaningful words. Terrific track. The Pony Man. Now this is a story again, and I think it's about the man that used to look after the horses on ships. And I love the whistling and the harmonica. As I said, this was close to being my number 1 album. As I said, there's not much between this. This is just a fantastic album. Gordon at his best. So I'm going to give that an RTO ranking of 9.5. But my number 1, if you haven't guessed, is his 9th album from 1974, and it's the brilliant Sundown. Opens up with this short but lovely story about the USA, and it's somewhere in the USA. Great delivery from Gordon. Lovely guitar on this. High and Dry. Outstanding vocal from Gordon. It's a lovely short little track though, and I just love how he delivers that song. Seven Islands Suite, brilliant song, singing, story, great arrangement. What more can you ask for? Circle of Steel. I love this. There's a little bit of recorder on this, which really adds to it. The recorder just reminds me of school. It's just, I think there's some lovely clarinet in it as well. Wonderful track. Is There Anybody Home? The bass line is great. It's a great story. I love the vocal from Gordon on that one. It just is amazing. The Watchman's Gone. Strings are good. Another little story. Great vocal. Then we have Sundown. This is probably the first song I ever heard by Gordon Lightfoot, and I've always loved this song. Catchy little tune as well. Carefree Highway. Great strong song. Love the strings on that. It just adds to the track. Then we have The List. I love I don't know if it's a banjo or mandolin, but it really adds to this with that great bass line on that great little track. Too Late for Praying, the last track. What a track! A lovely vocal from Gordon. It's just a gentle strong, the strings. This is number one. I just think it's a great collection of songs. I think this has got some of the best songs he ever wrote, and the playing on this is fantastic. There's so much about this album that makes it my number one, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.6. So there we go. I've loved doing this. Gordon Lightfoot is one of them. It's a Sunday morning album. It's a late evening, or if you're just pottering about, or you're doing something, like if I'm sitting here writing stuff up for videos. I like putting a Gordon Lightfoot album on because it relaxes me. So that's why I love him so much. There we go. That's all for today. But tomorrow we've got the second quarter final of Battle Royale, and it's Bridge Over Troubled Water against Nevermind the Bollocks. Interesting combination. Interesting. And then tomorrow's pick and mix is mixing up, and it's one we had to cancel. That's already been sitting there, so we're going to look at the work of the wonderful Bruce Fairbairn tomorrow. And I'm going to pick my favourite 5 albums, which was a difficult task, because he produced so many great albums. So that's all tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.